The courtroom froze the moment Mary stepped forward. Every whisper died, every camera lens locked on her trembling hands, one clutching a sealed manila envelope to her chest like a final confession. Her eyes were steady, locked on the judge, unflinching beneath the glare of the lights. Cody didn't move. Robyn reached out instinctively, but Cody's shoulders stiffened, his jaw set. Then Mary's voice, quiet, trembling, but laced with something dangerous, cut through the silence. "You want the truth?" she said, holding up the envelope. "It's in here, and it'll ruin everything." Gasps rippled through the room. Reporters' pens froze mid-scratch. Camera shutters clicked like gunfire. And for the first time in years, the illusion of the perfect Brown family shattered in real time. The world outside exploded. Brown trial trended instantly. Pundits speculated. Fans dissected every look, every pause. But inside that courtroom, under the sharp gaze of Judge Elaine Mathers, a woman known for cutting through celebrity theatrics like steel, it wasn't gossip anymore. It was evidence, it was consequence, and it was the end of pretense. It was a gray, cold morning in Flagstaff, Arizona. The courthouse steps swarmed with journalists. Microphones jutted forward like weapons. Commentators whispered into cameras about betrayal, fraud, and secrets wrapped in family. Inside, the tension was alive, vibrating through every bench, every polished marble tile. Cody Brown sat at the defense table, his body rigid, posture commanding, but his eyes betrayed him. They flickered with panic. He scanned the faces around him like a man who once led an empire but no longer recognized his kingdom. Beside him, Robyn sat pale and motionless. Her hands were tightly intertwined on her lap, knuckles white, eyes darting, calculating, fearful, waiting for a blow she couldn't predict. And Mary? She sat alone. The silence around her was thick, deliberate. Gone was the obedient first wife the world once knew. In her place sat a woman stripped bare by betrayal and rebuilt by rage. Her envelope, that simple, sealed piece of paper, was no longer evidence. It was a reckoning. Judge Mathers entered, firm and unsmiling. "All rise." Every camera went still. The only sound was the soft creak of the benches as the room obeyed. "All be seated." Her gavel struck once, crisp as a gunshot. Everyone knew about the envelope. Everyone wanted to know what was in it. The prosecution whispered smoking gun. The defense called it a stunt. But the truth, the real truth, belonged only to Mary Brown. The allegations were already volcanic. Financial fraud, emotional coercion, hidden guardianship manipulations, acts that could, if proven, amount to federal crimes. What was at stake was more than money. It was reputation, control, and the fragile illusion of family unity that had masked the Browns' empire for decades. The first witness took the stand, a former financial analyst for the Browns. Calmly, clinically, he recited numbers that cut like blades. Funds siphoned, accounts drained, assets mysteriously transferred into Robyn's name, while the others were left empty. Robyn's lips trembled. She whispered to Cody. He ignored her. His jaw tightened. His nostrils flared. Mary didn't blink. The analyst went on. There were documents filed under Mary Brown's name that she never signed, and meeting minutes where her presence was falsely recorded. Gasps murmured through the audience. Robyn's eyes flickered, that quick, guilty flash of panic. The courtroom cameras zoomed in again on the envelope in Mary's lap. The internet was ablaze. DNA results? Fraud files? Secret love letters? The judge raised her hand. The contents will remain sealed until Mrs. Brown's testimony. No one touches it. No one discusses it. The tension thickened. What had started as curiosity was now pure fear. Outside during recess, Flagstaff turned into chaos. Protesters clashed with fans. Some held signs reading "Justice for Mary." Others shouted Cody's name in defense. The air was heavy with speculation. Live streams ran 24/7. But inside the courthouse, the real story was quietly waiting inside that envelope. That night, in her hotel room, cameras captured Mary sitting by the window, the envelope on her lap. Her voice was soft, almost to herself. "I could have walked away, but they wouldn't let me. They kept lying, and now they'll know." She stared out at the desert wind hammering the glass. "I loved him. I trusted her. I defended them, and they shattered me for it." Then she blinked, the tears drying as resolve replaced them. Let's see how they survive the truth. The next morning, the courtroom was silent. Even the reporters whispered. Robyn's face was pale, eyes rimmed red. Cody wore a smaller suit, tighter, like armor, but he couldn't hide the nerves. Mary entered last. Every head turned. She walked with purpose, her silence louder than any speech. When she sat, she placed the envelope on the witness stand beside her. Judge Mathers nodded. "Mrs. Brown, you may proceed." The gavel struck. "Court in session." The envelope was finally opened. Inside, a single document. A bold heading at the top. DNA comparison report. Gasps echoed. The prosecutor's hands trembled slightly as he read aloud, "This is to verify that Mr. Cody Brown is not the biological father of the child in question." The words hit like a thunderclap. Robyn's body jolted. Her mouth fell open, but no sound came. Cody staggered back, color draining from his face. The courtroom rippled with horrified murmurs. Mary sat still. Her expression was unreadable, not vengeful, not proud. Just finished. The prosecutor spoke softly. "Mrs. Brown, when did you first suspect this?" Mary inhaled deeply. 3 years ago. I overheard Robyn on the phone with a man named David. She said something about our child. I felt sick. I didn't know who he was, but I never forgot that name. A tremor of noise swept the courtroom. Robyn's eyes filled. Cody clenched his fists. "What did you do then?" The prosecutor asked. I started looking closer. Dates didn't match. Stories changed. Then I realized the baby's hospital ID tag was missing from our family keepsake box. Her voice quivered, but with strength, not fear. So I began documenting everything. Eventually, a private investigator helped me confirm the DNA through legal channels. Cody slammed his fist on the desk. "You're insane. This is insane." The judge's gavel cracked. "Mr. Brown, control yourself." But his outburst had already changed the air. He wasn't a victim anymore. He was a man unraveling. Robyn's attorney jumped up. "Objection. This is a violation of the child's privacy." The sample was obtained legally, the prosecutor cut in. "And the identities are sealed outside this room." Robyn finally broke. "You don't understand," she cried. Cody knew. He always knew there was a chance. Cody turned on her, stunned. "What did you just say?" She backed away, sobbing. "Before we married, I told you. I said there was a possibility. You said it didn't matter." "I said a lot of things," he roared. "But that child carries my name." Robyn collapsed into her chair, shaking. The jury stared, horrified. Mary's voice cut through the chaos. "This was never about that child. This was about lies, the kind that bury whole families alive." The courtroom fell silent again. She took a breath. "And when I uncovered the truth, I found something else." The prosecutor turned sharply. "What truth?" Mary lifted another paper from her folder. Robyn's first marriage. It wasn't symbolic. It was legal. She was married to David, the same man, long after she told Cody she was single. Cody went rigid. Robyn's mouth opened, but nothing came out. "It's public record," Mary continued. "Notarized, dated, and the timelines overlap." Judge Mathers blinked, processing. The prosecutor stepped forward. "Your Honor, we request to enter this as new evidence and summon Mrs. Robyn Brown to the stand tomorrow morning." The gavel came down. Request granted. Court adjourned until 9 a.m. The room erupted into chaos. Reporters shouting, flashbulbs popping. Robyn stayed frozen, hands over her face. Cody stood beside her like a man struck by lightning. Mary gathered her things in silence. The envelope lay empty now, but its echo filled the air. By nightfall, headlines screamed across every screen. DNA bombshell in Brown trial. Robyn's secret marriage exposed. And somewhere deep in the courthouse, the sound of truth still lingered. Quiet, unstoppable, and final. The aftershock. The Brown truth. Day 2. Cody stormed out of the courtroom without a word. Reporters lunged forward, cameras flashing, questions flying, but he didn't look back. The heavy oak doors slammed behind him, the echo rolling like thunder through the courthouse. Mary stayed seated. For a long moment, she simply breathed, still, silent, unbroken. Then she stood, clutching her stack of papers to her chest. For the first time in years, she wasn't fleeing the truth. She was walking with it. Outside, chaos reigned. Crowds chanted her name. Hashtags blazed across the internet. Mary Brown wins. Cody exposed. Within minutes, live streams and podcasts exploded. Commentators speculating, analysts decoding every flicker of expression from the day's hearing. But in Mary's hotel room that night, the world was quiet. She sat alone, the TV flickering softly in the background, her reflection mirrored in the dark window. On the desk before her, another envelope, unopened, unrevealed. She touched it gently, her voice a whisper caught on the wind. "They think the storm's over," she murmured. "Tomorrow they'll see what else I found." And when she looked up, her eyes weren't afraid. They were ready. By dawn, Flagstaff's courthouse was a fortress of tension. Media vans lined the streets. Drones hovered overhead. Protesters held banners, "Justice for the wives," while others yelled in defense of the Browns. The trial that had begun as a family feud had become a national reckoning. Cody entered first. His head was bowed, jaw locked tight, dark glasses shielding his eyes. Bodyguards surrounded him, but they couldn't block the glares, the murmurs, the posters calling him a liar. Robyn arrived moments later. Large sunglasses, hair perfectly in place. But the sympathy that once protected her was gone. Overnight, her PR team had released a carefully worded statement pleading for understanding, calling the DNA report incomplete. It hadn't worked. The public wasn't forgiving, not this time. Then Mary entered, calm, unflinching. The crowd hushed. She carried no theatrics and just purpose. Because today wasn't about pain anymore. It was about proof. Judge Mathers called the room to order. The prosecution may call its next witness. "Your Honor," the prosecutor said, "the state calls Robyn Alice Sullivan, also known as Robyn Brown." The courtroom rippled. Robyn froze. Slowly, she rose from her chair and made her way to the stand, each step measured, heavy. She placed her hand on the Bible, her voice was hoarse. "I do." The prosecutor approached, voice steady, calm but piercing. "Mrs. Brown. Or should I say Mrs. Sullivan?" Robyn flinched visibly. A gasp echoed through the gallery. "I don't understand the question," she said. The prosecutor lifted a document. "This is a certified marriage certificate dated 2008, Helena, Montana. It states that Robyn Alice Sullivan was legally married to David R. Sullivan. This isn't a spiritual ceremony, it's a legal marriage. Do you deny that this is you?" Robyn's face flushed red. That was an error," she stammered. "It wasn't, but you were still legally married to Mr. Sullivan when you began your relationship with Cody Brown, correct?" She went silent. Her lips trembled. "I was divorced," she whispered. The prosecutor stepped closer. "No, ma'am. You were not. Records show your divorce wasn't finalized until 2010. That means for nearly 2 years, you were still married, while portraying yourself publicly and professionally as Cody Brown's wife. You concealed it from the family, from the network, and from Mr. Brown himself." Robyn's chin quivered. "I didn't want to lose him," she choked out. "I thought if he found out, he'd never accept me." The prosecutor's tone hardened. "So you lied. You forged signatures. You misled your co-wives, your audience, and this man you claim to love." Her tears fell fast. She covered her face, sobbing openly. But no one moved. Even Judge Mathers didn't intervene. This wasn't cruelty, as this was confrontation, decades overdue. Cody sat motionless, hands clasped tight. His face was pale, unreadable, but his eyes flickered with something new. Confusion, maybe even betrayal. For the first time, he wasn't defending Robyn. He was watching her. The prosecutor continued, voice low but relentless. "Let's discuss financial records. You and Mr. Brown formed an LLC 2 years before your legal marriage. Mary, Janelle, and Christine were excluded from that company, yet family earnings, including TLC profits, were funneled through it." "Why?" Robyn sniffled. "Cody said it was just easier for taxes. He said we had to keep things tidy. So it was his idea?" "Yes." Mary leaned forward slightly, her expression unreadable but her eyes sharp. This was the moment she had waited for. The acknowledgement of deceit written not in ink, but in silence. Robyn's attorney objected, but the judge overruled. "Mrs. Brown," the prosecutor said, "did you sign an agreement transferring 80% of the family's television income into that LLC, money that excluded Mary Brown?" Robyn hesitated. Cody said, "It was temporary. He said it would help us qualify for benefits and that the other wives could still—" Cody cut her off, his voice thundering. "Don't you dare lay this on me!" The courtroom jolted. Cameras clicked furiously. But it was too late. The damage was done. The jury saw it. The world saw it. The perfect patriarch was cracking. The prosecutor paused, then asked quietly, "One final question, Mrs. Brown. The child referenced in yesterday's DNA test? Was David Sullivan the biological father? The silence was deafening. Robyn's lip quivered. She nodded once. Yes, the word fell like a hammer. It spread through the courtroom, out the doors, across every newsfeed in America. Gasps, shouts, sobs, and then only the relentless clicking of cameras capturing the fall of an empire. Mary sat still, eyes forward. There was no victory in her face, only truth. Outside, the courthouse exploded again, headlines screaming, anchors shouting into live cameras. DNA scandal deepens. Robyn confirms second secret marriage. Cody Brown accused of financial fraud. Cody raged in the hallway, shouting at cameras. This is a witch hunt. She's destroying my family. But nobody was listening. Not anymore. His empire had already started to crumble. Robyn was escorted out a side door, hidden behind guards and tinted glass. The woman who once courted the camera now hid from it. Mary, standing quietly at the far end of the hall, spoke softly to a producer. He always thought I'd protect him, she said. Even when he didn't protect me. But some betrayals are too deep to bury. That night, in her hotel room, Mary pulled open a drawer. Inside, another folder, labeled Confidential Correspondence. Inside it, printed emails, bank statements, and a notarized letter from a woman named Mindy Sullivan, dated 5 years ago. The subject line read, Robyn's hidden identity. Mary stared at it for a long moment. Then she lifted her phone. I'm ready to submit the next exhibit, she said into the receiver. This one's going to hurt. The camera lingered on the folder as she placed it on the table, its shadow stretching long across the hotel carpet. Just when you thought the lies were over, the narrator whispered, another storm was about to begin. The next morning, the courtroom felt different, heavier, charged. The gallery overflowed. Every seat taken. Every head tilted forward in anticipation. Cody sat alone now. Robyn was absent. He looked smaller somehow, his posture defensive, his expression haunted. The man who once ruled a family now looked like a defendant awaiting his fate. Then the doors opened. Not for Robyn, but for Christine and Janelle. The room erupted. Cameras flashed. The sisters walked side by side, heads high, carrying thin black folders. They didn't glance at Cody. They didn't need to. Their presence said everything. The judge gestured to the prosecutor. Call your next witness. The state calls Christine Brown. She stepped forward, placed her hand on the Bible, and swore in. A single photo of the moment, her eyes locking with Cody's, went viral within minutes. The prosecutor asked gently, Ms. Brown, what led you to testify today? Christine's voice was firm, unwavering. For years, I thought silence was loyalty, but it was fear. Mary showed me that silence is complicity, and I refused to be complicit any longer. The room fell utterly still. The truth was no longer a secret whispered behind closed doors. It was a force, steady, unstoppable, reclaiming every lie ever told in the name of love. Unstoppable, reclaiming every lie ever told in the name of love. The courtroom was no longer just a place of testimony. It was a battlefield. Cody shifted uncomfortably in his chair, the word abuser still hanging in the air like smoke that refused to clear. What do you mean by that? The prosecutor asked. Christine inhaled slowly. He emotionally isolated us all, she said. But particularly Mary. He manipulated Robyn to feel like she was the darling one, but she was a pawn too. The ultimate betrayal wasn't love. It was money, contracts, and secrets. Then she opened a folder. Inside were duplicates of financial records, emails, and letters. These, she said, I received by accident. Robyn sent them to a P.O. box she thought belonged to the family's attorney. But it was mine. The room tensed. Letters? The prosecutor asked. Christine nodded. Love letters. To a man named David, the same David Mary mentioned earlier. Gasps. She never stopped writing him, Christine continued, even after her spiritual wedding to Cody. In one letter, she called their child, our miracle. Cody's face contorted, his lips moving, but no objection came. The judge stayed silent, not out of control, but out of judgment. Christine read aloud. Sometimes I glance at him and see your eyes. No one breathed. Then came the letter that shattered everything. Once this TV thing blows over, I'll find a way for us to be together again. Cody's playing his part, but we both know who I really belong to. The courtroom gasped again. Even the stenographer's hands froze. You're saying Robyn maintained a relationship with another man after marrying Cody? The prosecutor pressed. Yes, Christine said firmly. And based on the dates, she was already pregnant. The prosecutor turned to the judge. "Your Honor, we request permission to enter these into evidence." The judge nodded. "Granted." As Christine stepped down, she placed a gentle hand on Mary's shoulder. It wasn't performance, it was sisterhood reborn in fire. Then came Janelle. Her voice was calm but cold as winter glass. She spoke of shared bank accounts drained without notice, of financial exclusion. "The minute Robyn walked in, everything changed," Janelle testified. "We weren't a family. We were a front." Mary saw it first. She revealed transactions. TLC deposits funneled into a shared account only Robyn controlled. "Your Honor," Janelle said, her voice steady, "we had an understanding that all wives were equal. But we were lied to. Coerced into silence." Cody snapped. "You all made your own decisions," he shouted. "Sit down or be removed," the judge ordered. But it was too late. His mask was gone. The leader was no longer visible, only a man unraveling before the world. Robyn entered moments later, her face streaked with tears. She climbed to the stand, trembling. "Did you write these letters?" "Yes." "Were you still in love with David Sullivan while married to Cody?" A pause. I don't know. It was complicated. I thought I could move on. Did Cody know?" Her voice cracked. "Eventually." The courtroom erupted. "What are you saying?" Cody barked. "You told me he was gone." Robyn broke down. "You knew. You said it was fine, as long as we maintained the ratings." Those words detonated like dynamite. The room went silent. Everyone knew what it meant, and within minutes that phrase would be clipped, replayed, dissected on every screen in America. The prosecutor remained calm. "Your Honor, we have one last exhibit." He opened a briefcase and withdrew a small leather journal. "This notebook belonged to Robyn," he said. "Inside are entries documenting private meetings with Cody, discussing how to funnel TLC income into Robyn's control and how to quietly push Mary out." The judge's eyes moved slowly over the pages. Then she looked up. "Court will recess until tomorrow morning. Be ready for full cross-examination." When the gavel struck, Robyn broke down in tears. Christine and Janelle walked tall. Cody sat motionless. Mary didn't move. She had already found her peace. But outside, chaos. "Expose the Browns" trended worldwide. Protesters crowded courthouse steps. Reporters screamed for statements. And still, inside Mary's chest, there was calm. Not vengeance, not justice. Peace. Until Robyn leaned toward her lawyer and whispered, "There's one more document. If they show it, it's over." The final day arrived. Cameras filled every corner. Helicopters hovered overhead. The city itself seemed to hold its breath. Christine approached the stand again, holding a heavy binder. "We have one last piece of evidence," she said. "These are internal emails and transfers showing that Cody and Robyn created an off-the-books trust. Money routed to an account under Robyn's sister, Jessica Sullivan." The courtroom exploded. "Lies!" Cody shouted. Christine flipped the binder open. "Then explain this: $160,000 wired under family PR services. But the account holder? Jessica Sullivan. And the attached email, if we keep it in Jess's name, nobody will trace it back. We'll say it's for production costs. Mary won't ask. She's too loyal." The judge slammed her gavel. "Order!" Cody's rage burned red. "That's out of context. Sit down, Mr. Brown, or face contempt." Robyn turned away from him, tears streaking her face, but no one was fooled. Her tears were rehearsed, familiar. The room saw them for what they were, tools of control. Then came Janelle's final testimony. "You promised transparency," she said. "You delivered secrecy. You made me doubt my own mind. But Mary, she saw it first. And we failed her." Mary's eyes filled, but her posture didn't break. Years of being minimized now gave way to something else: vindication. The prosecution presented one final record: a $50,000 transfer labeled "Private Retention Agreement" sent to Jessica days before the DNA results were revealed. "Mrs. Brown," the prosecutor asked, "was this transfer made by you?" Robyn's voice trembled. "Yes." "Why?" "Because..." "She knew," Robyn whispered. "She knew about David, about the letters, about everything. I just wanted her to stop digging." "So you paid her hush money?" Robyn's silence was answer enough. The prosecution rested. Then without warning, Cody stood. "You want the truth?" he shouted. "Fine. The show changed everything. I was trying to hold it together. The family, the money, the image. That's all it ever was, an image." He jabbed a finger at Mary. "You were never content." You wanted rescue, but you didn't need saving. Mr. Brown, sit down, the judge thundered. He ignored her. They call me the villain, but every circus needs a ringmaster. You all danced for me. Two bailiffs approached. He didn't resist, just stared one last time at Mary. She didn't blink. When the doors closed behind him, Robyn's sobs filled the room, but not one person moved to comfort her. Sympathy had long expired. Then Mary rose. Her voice was soft, but it carried through every microphone. For years I stayed silent, she began. I thought silence was strength, that by not resisting I was doing the right thing. But silence only protected them. It benefited him to lie. It benefited her to manipulate. It benefited the illusion of a perfect family. She took a breath. I don't seek revenge. I seek understanding. I want people to stop mistaking control for love. What they built wasn't love. It was theater. And I was cast as the background character in a story I helped tell. But not anymore. Because when a woman stops waiting to be rescued, she becomes the flame. Mary handed the judge a final envelope, a notarized statement from a TLC producer. It confirmed that Robyn and Cody secretly negotiated a spin-off, planning to announce it right after Mary's exit. It was always about them, she said quietly. Always. The judge recessed for deliberation. Outside, chaos again. Reporters shouting. Cameras flashing. The world watching. Inside, silence. Until Robyn turned to her lawyer and whispered words caught on a hot mic. If they open the vault, I'm not going down alone. And she smiled through her tears. Just like that, the war wasn't over. It had only changed hands. If Robyn's vault really exists, what is she hiding that's powerful enough to destroy more than just Cody? Comment below. What do you think she's keeping under wraps? And who do you think it might take down next? What do you think she's keeping under wraps? And who do you think it might take down next?